The future is here, and we're dealing with some of the most difficult crises our species and planet have ever faced. Every year, we have to deal with more disease, deforestation, drought, and death. I started GeneHub because there are too many people who think that there's no hope to solve these problems, who think that life on Earth is basically doomed and that life-saving medical advances will always be unaffordable. Well, we can solve these problems. We have the tools. But somehow, the most important tool at our disposal is barely being discussed. I believe that if the world understood what was possible with genetic engineering, then people all over the world would be able to use this natural technology to solve our most difficult problems: climate change, disease, deforestation, cancer, aging, and even death. GeneHub is designed to help you understand the world of cutting-edge genetic modification happening right now in humans, plants, and everything else. We're a diverse group of scientists who specialize in designing and testing genetic modifications, or gene mods, by utilizing the same technologies that nature's been using since long before us. Our research here focuses on gene mods that solve major issues: increasing human lifespan, creating fast-growing and resilient plants, repairing organs and tissues, solving environmental problems, improving cognition, and even curing cancer. I know you've heard all the usual arguments against genetic engineering. It's unnatural. It's always dangerous. We don't understand what we're doing. Well, none of these are true, but it's easy to see why gene tech has a bad reputation. Traditionally, the only groups that have been able to develop and release gene tech have been megacorporations, big pharma, and other elite groups. Most of these institutions don't really care about helping anybody but themselves. They only want to maximize their profit and seize intellectual property, while they actively work to change laws so that nobody else can even compete. These elite groups benefit from the controversy and legislation around genetic modification because it keeps out any competition. It lets them stay at the top and makes it difficult for small, open-source biotech to succeed. But what if we could change that? What if we could break down those barriers and make it possible for anyone to understand genetic engineering? What if we could take this natural technology and put it back into the hands of regular people? What kinds of amazing projects are out there right now that could save our lives, forests, and planet? The world is changing fast. Genetic engineering has gotten dramatically cheaper and easier in the last few years. DNA can now be printed on demand so cheaply that million-dollar, life-saving gene therapies can be recreated in a garage for a few $1,000s. The techniques for genetically modifying people and plants are also getting cheaper and more effective. We're entering a new era of life on Earth, and we can either allow this enormous power to stay with a few powerful groups, or we can democratize it and allow everybody to benefit. Gene tech is just a tool. It can build amazing things if used correctly, but in the wrong hands, it can also be used to exploit people and the planet. I know, this sounds straight out of science fiction, but it's real and it's happening right now. Many people would prefer to keep this information hidden behind office buildings, paywalls, and universities, but I don't agree. I'm sure you have your questions and doubts, and you should. What about safety? How much of this is just hype? Why haven't I heard of this happening? I created GeneHub as a way to easily explain gene tech to people and share what kinds of genetic modifications are out there right now. I believe this information will help people form communities to advance the right ideas. I want to explain these complex topics completely, including safety concerns and ethical implications. I urge you to watch our first two videos that explain what is genetic engineering and what is a gene therapy so that you can understand a little bit more about how this technology works. After that, each video is designed to cover a specific genetic modification that currently exists. So join us as we examine different types of gene mods, how they're being used, and how this incredible technology is going to affect our lives. Welcome to GeneHub.